Now, next speaker. I've talked on the National Wake Up Call before on about teachers, nurses can be very successful in this business because of the way they educate and the way they take care of people. You don't have to be a teacher or a nurse, but it just is interesting to me that many of our successful coaches had that path. She has such a long list of accomplishments. I want to announce them all because she's deserving of it. I will announce some, but I also want to say that not only has Danielle achieved success personally, but she has developed others who have achieved their success personally. So it's been a very rewarding career for her so far. Just so you know, she started coaching in 2010, a decade ago. So if you're just starting coaching now, think of what your life can look like in 10 years if you put in the hard work, diligence, and skill. See how I wove that in there? She has achieved a rank that not many have achieved, and that's Superstar Diamond 2 coach in the network. She also, a few years ago, received the CEO Recipient Award that's given by Carl Deichler at Summit. That was a very exciting event. She's an 8-time elite coach, qualifying for 9 times. So 2021 will be her 9th elite. She's been in the top 10 twice as a top 10 elite coach. She serves on our coach advisory board. And get this, she's part of the 100 plus success club, whatever it's called. She's got 117 months straight in Success Club. You guys, she's from Las Vegas, Nevada. Give it up for Danielle Natoni.
Ooh, well, that was a lot to listen to and almost like, wait, is that me?
It is you, and I've been around for all of it, so I can attest to your hard work, diligence, and skill. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing the call today. I really appreciate it. Now, in your words, 10 years ago, what brought you to Beachbody?
Oh, okay. Well, that would be its own separate call. So I will try to condense this as short as possible. But yes, I joined as a coach April 15th, 2010. So I'm a dinosaur coach. I've been here for 10 years, which is interesting because it feels like I'm just getting started. And the girl that joined 10 years ago is almost unrecognizable from the woman that I am today. But 10 years ago, I was an elementary school teacher, like Sandy alluded to. My children were much smaller. They were 8 and 4, so they've grown up in Beachbody. And I was drowning in debt. Actually, fitness has always been a part of my life. I grew up dancing and then I transitioned from dance to fitness. It was something that I always loved and it was my hobby. But I found myself not being able to make it paycheck to paycheck and looking for a secondary stream of income. I had always bartended or waited tables on the side, but I just thought, I don't want to do that anymore. If I have to teach kids all day, I wonder if there's a way that I can make extra money doing something I love so that I still have the energy to put forth in my classroom. And that's when I decided, I wonder if there's a way to make money in fitness. So thankfully, I didn't know that there typically isn't, but I went to the manager at the gym that I worked out at and asked if he would hire me to become a group fitness instructor. And he pointed me towards a group fitness certification called Turbo Kick. I had never heard of Turbo Kick. I had never heard of Chalene Johnson, but he promised me that it was a popular class at the gym and that he could guarantee I could have a spot teaching classes on the nights and the weekends, which was what I needed, a little extra money. But that was the universe's divine intervention because at that Turbo Kick training is where I met my upline, Jackie Woodfin. I always say she's the little angel that was put into my life to give me the wings to be able to fly. And at that training, we sat down at lunch and chatted, and she shared with me all about Beachbody, which at that time I had never heard of the company before. And she told me how she'd been in an infomercial for Turbo Jam and how she had just come back from a trip for Hawaii. I believe that was one of the first Success Club trips. And she also shared how she was able to contribute to her family's mortgage with her earnings. And of course, insert income disclaimer there. But that wasn't even what really got me. In that moment, she sat down and she looked at me dead in the eyes and she said, I think you would crush it. Just that. She didn't tell me about the compensation plan. She didn't explain to me what Emerald was or how to go out and recruit coaches. But she just looked at me and she believed in me. And she seemingly was everything that I thought I wanted to be. And I thought, if she believes that I can do this, maybe I can. And so that night I went home and without question, I signed up to be a coach, and insert 10 more years. Here I am.
There's so much I love about your story, and I do know your story. So it's the belief that someone had in you before you had it in yourself. And then also, you didn't come to Beachbody for a fitness thing, to lose a lot of weight or stuff. And does that ever trouble you, or that you don't have that kind of story, that you only have the financial story, or is it help you relate to people who come to Beachbody who don't have that weight loss incentive?
Yeah, it's interesting. I do hear that a lot, right? Like, actually, I hear the inverse from people. Oh, it must be so easy for you because you're so fit. And actually, it can be a little bit more challenging. Now, 10 years in, I am consistent proof day in and day out that our products work, because for the most part, over the 10 years, I've actually only gotten healthier, not in reverse. But earlier on, it was actually more challenging for me because I was already fit. But all that meant was I had to dive in even further to being proof our products work. That literally doing our programs the way they were designed from start to finish, to show the person on the other end of the screen or the other end of the conversation that we have a system that we can provide to you, and that if you follow it, it works. And what I will say is this: while maybe I don't know what it feels like to be in a body that I don't love or feel proud of, we all struggle with different things. So maybe I don't know what it feels like to want to lose 50 pounds, but I also do know what it feels like to have somebody look at you and assume things about you simply because you are skinny. In some way, shape, or form, we all have felt some kind of negative feeling from somebody as it relates to our body. And so, all in all, as long as we focus on health first,
Yeah.
then I feel like we all can identify with each other.
I think that's really well said, because whether you're losing weight or gaining muscle or maintaining, anything that you're doing should be done in a healthy way. So I love that you epitomize that. And I didn't even say in the beginning how you bleed blue. I mean, you are like an ambassador for Beachbody, and you've been a master trainer. I mean, you have so many achievements, and that just goes to show that you've always been in it. You've always shown up, and you didn't just like get results and take off. This is it for you. You found the right fit. Okay, let's fast forward to challenge groups from when you started, because you are a big believer in groups, and now especially in bod groups. Can you talk about how it all started for you, like how the group started for you, and why you onboard your new coaches with a focus on leading groups? So just take it away.
Okay. So, to your point too about, being here and being a pillar and bleeding blue, I have been joking lately on some calls that I've been doing that, I don't want people to just be here 1 year from now or 5 years from now or even 10 years from now. I want you to aspire to be here 50 years from now. So I'm organizing a Sassy Seniors Cruise. When I'm like 80, we're all going to get on and party down and celebrate, decade upon decade upon decade of being part of Team Beachbody. But with that being said, I am a dinosaur coach. I've been around a long time. So I actually remember when challenge groups, that idea of challenge groups was first put forth by corporate. And the idea was actually presented of 5, not 50, not 500, but 5. What if every coach could focus on bringing 5 people into a group and helping them get results? Now, I think over time, what has happened, and I'm guilty of it as well, larger numbers often feel better, seem more exciting, maybe are even a little sexier to promote on social media. But the reality is that small, intimate group of 5 is really the foundation that Team Beachbody was built upon. It was that idea of you get results, you love it so much, you share it with your friends want to join you. And so I really love for a new coach to focus on their own group right away, because I want them to start with that small, intimate group. If you look up the definition of group in the dictionary, the first thing will say 2 or more people. 2 or more. That means a group could literally be you and one other person. I don't want a new coach coming in thinking and being overwhelmed that they have to have some magnificent group filled with 50 to 100 people, when a group could literally be them and their sister and their neighbor. Small, intimate groups of people who already know, like, and trust them, who they have a relationship with, so they can get their feet wet with this whole group thing, so that they can really step into their leadership skills. I actually think that coaching is a lot like parenting. My oldest daughter is a sophomore in college. And I hope that she wakes up every day and brushes her teeth and brushes her hair and gets herself off to school and eats a good meal. And I can't check in on that every single day. I know that I instilled those values in her from the very beginning. If you think about it, you give your kids chores, right? Not because you want them to clean the whole house for you when they're 5, but because you hope that as they get older, those habits will be instilled, that they'll have the confidence to do those things on their own. Well, that's what I think it is when a new coach comes in. Now, I understand that some coaches train to co-admin in big groups, and I am not denouncing that. I think there's a right way for everybody. But for me, what I have found is when I bring a new coach in, instead of having them co-admin a large group with people they don't know and don't feel comfortable with, I like to empower their leadership skills right from the very beginning by having them set up a group of just a few people who they already have an established relationship with, who they can come together and test out their leadership skills, run that group, help them get success, and feel ready to tackle the next group so that they're getting their leadership wings all dusted and ready to fly. So in my onboarding process, I actually start them out right away with setting up a bod group. And again, I know for some of you, this is like, nope, don't listen to her. But what I have found has worked is when I bring on a brand new coach, I send them a welcome email. And in that welcome email, it tells them to sign up for our groups, when the national wake up call is, all that fun stuff. After they've responded back, then I send them a very short 15-minute video that I personally made. No, you do not have to do this. There are totally great tools available to you in the Coach Online office. But I just made a quick 15-minute video on what it means to be a coach, some of the basics and ins and outs. When they're done, they respond back, and I send another very short video that I made about what it means to be an Emerald coach. After they respond back to that, this is where I send them a video actually from corporate on how to set up their bod group. And in that language, I say, please know that this can just be a placeholder, but I want you to be ready for that first customer or that first coach who joins you so they have a place to be successful. Not once yet have I had a coach push back on that and say, oh my gosh, I'm too overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. I feel like by simply putting it out there, like, hey, we're going to set you up a group. It can be a placeholder. Don't feel like you have to put people in it now. And that group can be really small. It can just be you and a couple other people, but it's going to be a place for you to test out bod groups, to really start to understand and help people get success. What's so exciting about that is I have found that my new coach activity, that +1, SC +1 category, is really going up because of this, because they're having that confidence to step into their power of a coach. Like, yeah, I'm leading a group. Okay, I am going to get somebody in that group. Now, after they set up their group and they tell me they've done that, I send them one more short little video on what Success Club is, and then we set up their one-on-one call. And in that one-on-one call, we talk about their group. First of all, I relieve that pressure that it has to have a certain number of people. There is no magic number of people in a group. Matter of fact, I would argue it is not the number of people in a group that matters. It's the size of the heart of all the people inside the group that matters, the effort that they put forward and the energy that is given. So we talk about their group. What do they want to name it? What's the first program that they want to do? Is it going to be mixed ability or mixed group or same program? And I get them fired up about this idea of now you have a place So when you're inviting, you can say, hey, my group is already set up. I can get you in there. It may be small, but I promise you, we're going to have fun. One of my new coaches, her name is Amy. We met on Instagram. She had never done Beachbody, wasn't in any of my bod groups. And after going back and forth on IG, we got on a FaceTime and she decided she wanted to become a coach. And during this onboarding process, I remember I actually looked up the text yesterday where it was just like this laundry list of all the ideas of the name she was going to name her first challenge group. She was so excited about this idea of, okay, I have a place where I can bring people together and start helping them get results. So don't fear the idea of a new coach coming on and setting up a bod group. That's what's great about bod groups. It's plug and play. Press here, put a picture here. And if you don't know what to do, you can kind of just go with the settings that they have. But it empowers that new coach. And my new coach, Amy, has hit Success Club and has one more month to be a success starter. And I have no doubt that she'll hit it because every conversation we have, she is focused on that group. She talks about the energy, what people are saying. She shares screenshots with me of where people are so excited about receiving their product or doing their program. So if you want working coaches, if you want productive coaches who are helping people get results, I firmly believe that when they sign up, empower them to do that right from the very beginning by letting them know that setting up a group can be the great place to do that. And it doesn't have to be an astronomical amount of people. It can simply be them and one or two other people that they already have a deep relationship with. The other thing about starting a group from the beginning is you'll often hear coaches, especially new coaches, maybe don't have as much of an issue of inviting to a group, but definitely are scared to invite to the coaching opportunity. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to invite. Well, when you have a small group of people that you already have an established relationship with, who are getting results, who are loving the energy of your group, that is a great place for the new coach to also gain a little confidence in inviting to the coaching opportunity. They can go into that group and say, you know what, Jess, you are doing so amazing. You have lost 10 pounds. You've not missed a day of tracking. Your energy is incredible. People are asking you what you're doing. Have you ever considered doing what I do? The pod group is a perfect place for the new coach to feel confident enough to talk about coaching and not just being a challenger. You know, we know that when people fall in love with our products and our programs and get results, the likelihood of them wanting to become a coach goes up. So I have found that when I let this process also naturally unfold, new coach signs up, starts their own group, get some challengers inside that group, helps them get results. More often than not, they are then converting that customer into a coach and they're starting to feel success and feeling like, yeah, I think I really can do this coaching thing.
I'm like mesmerized right now because I have written down, it's not the size of the group, it's the size of your heart. You know what? I want to thank you so much for coming back to the fundamentals that a group doesn't have to be 100 people, because everybody right now on Facebook is just going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe people forgot that it started with just 5. So I love that. And I also was thinking so much of the compound effect, because the compound effect is a book, in case you all haven't read it, it takes like, you can read it in one night, is about slow and steady growth, which is exactly what you've done. I mean, you've just been that steady growth that is so much more stable and sustainable. I have a few things I wrote down. Also, question, how do you have a sophomore in college?
I know it's hard when clearly like I'm in my late 20s, but yes, I had her when I was 22. So yeah, she's 19 and a sophomore in college and, just flourishing. But it's crazy because talk about creating a legacy, you guys. Bianca was 4 and Adriana was 8 when I joined this business, and they're 19 and 14. And they bleed blue as much as I do. They know Monday nights are team call nights. They know what a virtual super weekend is. They wear just as much. They love my old hand-me-down Beachbody swag, that we get earned. And they are proud Beachbody kids, and their lives are forever impacted because of this. And so it's really pretty cool to watch your kids grow up with Beachbody in their life.
Yeah, my kids still don't know what I do, but I do say be quiet on Mondays at 8 a.m. Okay, so the simplicity of what you talked about is that you start coaches with two things: start groups and achieve success club. That is the most simplest form of onboarding I've ever heard. And we have checklists and emails and comp plan and so many other things that cloud the new coach's brain with I have to do so much. What you're instilling with a small group right away is confidence.
Can I share probably an unpopular thought?
Of
I
course, that's why
I
you're here.
actually think we overcomplicate coaching. Now, that doesn't mean that checklists are invalid. The Success Club System Tracker is absolutely a valuable tool. I love all the trainings and things that other leaders bring to the table. However, at its core, I do think we overcomplicate this business. And I think as you grow, sure, you can add in all those other layers. But if I'm asking a working mom with, also she has a full-time job and she's coming on to be a coach, she's got very limited time, very limited time. She doesn't have time for all the extra things right now. So if I can just break that down into the smallest thing of like, hey girl, you need to press play on a program and get results, and you need to invite a couple people that you know to do the same. And that is the basis that I think where that compound effect comes into place, because they're going to get an early win. They're going to feel successful, and then they can start to grow and build and add in other pieces as it feels relevant.
Yeah, and that's just like school. I mean, you don't give a kindergartner, college material. So it's a gradual. You learn the fundamentals, you repeat, you grow, you mature, you get more confident. That is a really great point. It's not saying all that training out there isn't worthy. It's saying that there's a time for everything. And this your simplistic view of onboarding coaches I just heard a lot of people exhale out there. So thank you for
Good.
doing that. In closing, Danielle, 10 years means 10 years. And yes, you bleed beach body blue. So why don't you share with the audience how rewarding and fulfilling it has been for you?
Sure. You would think 10 years in that you wouldn't get emotional, and I already feeling it welling up. But like I said at the beginning of the call, the girl that joined 10 years ago is extremely different than the woman that I am today. And while I don't have that side-by-side physical transformation that some people have, I do have not only a financial transformation, but more importantly, an emotional transformation. And I'm sure you've heard it before, but our community is everything. My best friends I have met because of coaching. I can't even imagine my life without people like Lori Stewart or Tanya Barron, Leticia Dominguez, Ashley Molstad, Kim Lima, Rhonda Race. Like, I can't even name all the incredible women who I get to spend my life with, doing this business with. But over all of that, I if I had never picked up Insanity and had went from fit to fitter, I would never been asked to be in an infomercial. And on that infomercial, I would have never been introduced to the man who would become my future husband. From infomercial to altar, he is my absolute best friend and the love of my life and my business partner. And what I love is that the foundation of our marriage was actually built on our love for Beachbody. I don't have to worry if the man I love loves this company as much as I do, because it is the bedrock of our marriage. So while Beachbody does not guarantee any level of marital success, financial transformations are cool, and I love the relationships that I've built. But I will forever be grateful for being introduced to Danielle Natoni.
You had me in tears, and then you had me laughing when you said Beachbody doesn't guarantee marital success. Well, you are right about that. I started this call about resiliency, right? And how I listened to that podcast, how I built this. And you've been a coach for 10 years. You've had to weather so many storms. And the resiliency that you still have after all this time is really what developed you into the woman that you are, into the businesswoman that you are, into the leader that you are. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on today. It was a breath of fresh air.
Well, thank you. I'm always honored to be able to speak and that people still find me relevant after all these years.
You are definitely relevant. I ask myself that every Monday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And coaches, while I wanted to have a quote that was from Danielle that was, it's not the size of your group, but the size of your heart, I did want to pay tribute to Alex Trebek. Okay. I'm a big Jeopardy watcher and I love this quote. And in honor of him, who he passed yesterday, it's take your job seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. Okay. That is it for today. I will see you next Monday. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye bye.